Good evening. So sorry I can't be at the gala tonight. I've attended a few times and always enjoyed myself. I was at the gala where Miriam Toews received this wonderful fellowship and made a funny, touching speech. Mine won't be either as funny or as touching as Miriam's. And I am pleased, needless to say, and grateful and want to thank the Writers' Trust and the jury for the fellowship for this honor. Now, may I confess my not-so-mild surprise at being selected? The literary company of Miriam Toews, Michael Crummey, and Eden Robinson is obviously fine company indeed, far finer than I am used to. But it is more the existence of a wider cohort of writers in mid-career that has left me surprised and humbled. When I got the call about the fellowship and learned the criteria for it, my mind raced to at least a dozen authors equally worthy. I'm guessing that many of you seated in the Four Seasons ballroom are thinking the same thing right now. You may even be simply scanning your table and saying, hey, she deserves it as much or more. When did he last publish a book? And didn't that novel get mixed reviews? I understand. More than that, I agree. I agree it is mostly arbitrary, the recognition part of being an artist, and is usually just one more in a series of random external incidents that may or may not represent much of anything in a career, aside from the role of luck. I'm also aware that I'm being given the fellowship towards the end of a 4-year period away from full-time writing. I wrote about this period halfway into it, a magazine piece about the creative life, viewed while still on hiatus. I thought the piece was meditative and full of a quiet, confident uplift. Others, though, heard a cry of some kind, maybe even a silent scream. They asked, gently but repeatedly, if I was okay, really okay, and if maybe I needed therapy, or a bottle of Jameson, or a shoulder to cry on, or all three. I wasn't so sure I liked these responses. Rumors of my death, I snapped back, have been greatly exaggerated. Also, I said, I haven't thrown in the literary towel, I've just taken a real job. It soon came clear that for some, a real job is death to a writer, and I will admit that they are much harder and more time-consuming than they look. Real jobs, I mean. Who knew? And now, shortly, I will be back among those with vocations, not jobs, at least for a while. I will join what Margaret Atwood calls the fraternity of the soft-shelled crab, also known as adults who don't necessarily have to get out of their pajamas all day and who can still earn some semblance of a living. Looking forward once more to this company. These are my people from way, way back. And the larger point is that how fate treats you at any particular moment is rarely that relevant to the big why of being an artist in early, mid, or late career, or when not thinking about a career at all. For many years now, I have been sharing aloud a fatalistic view of writing that isn't original, I don't think, but which I can't now attribute to anyone else, having forgotten the likely source. It is this. There are, broadly speaking, two kinds of people. There are people who want to write, and there are people who need to write. People who want to write generally go on to happy and fulfilled lives doing other things. They often have second homes and personal trainers and exotic green Japanese egg barbecues in their backyards. Those who need to write, on the other hand, end up being writers and all that implies about money, happiness, fitness, home ownership, daytime clothing choices, and barbecues. In other words, those of us in it are really in it, way over our heads, way past making good or bad decisions. The best and truest, I would argue, just can't help stepping on the same rake over and over. We, can't ever stand up for falling down. It's the condition and the privilege and the joy that comes from doing what you're hopelessly, helplessly meant to be doing, and doing it well enough to show respect for the form and for your own modest talent. So, for all those who need to do the writing thing, who are in mid-career, and who may be sitting at a table tonight, who may be waiting on a table tonight, please be assured, fellowships, prizes, pins on your chest are kid stuff. Everyday writing out, living out, Our everyday compulsions to be more fully, alertly in the world through language and story is grown-up business. And that is what writers do with dignity and hopefulness and without too much complaint or, ideally, Jameson whiskey. For a final time, I am honored to be counted by the Writers' Trust among these good people.